A family in pain. The Ngqulungas family from River Park in Johannesburg says justice is the only consolation it requires after a former Petrol attendant turned their lives upside down and received a slap on the wrist for his crime.
Lindiwe kunzima. Azange ngiyacela ukuzwa ubuhlungu obunje emhlabeni. Ngibuzwile ubuhlungu shema. Ngibuzwile ubuhlungu.
Whatever the magistrate said, it was favoring. Anye ukuthi embulalini abantwana bakho bahlala bangana babo. What about umzali oluza umntanakhe? What about mina ngilahlekelwe ubhuti? Abantwana balahlekelwe ubaba. So ijustice of South Africa could say I'm one of those people that ayikho.
Mhlawumbe Lindiwe ngabe umthetho uye wasisebenzela ngendlela ngabe sesihilile nyana. Ngendlela sibona ngakhona asisanathemba ukuthi lo mntana usejele. Lo mntana ukubo.
Question enkulu mina bengifisa ukubabuza ukuthi after 10 months mangihlangana nalomuntu kuyenzakalini. Umntwana yamkhole nayo. Ngimazi from day one. Yabona sister. Ngawatshila uboya.
The day the dance stopped for Sandile Ngqulunga, the 26th of September 2021 started out well for Ngqulunga and his friend Bafana Binda, who you've just seen on this footage arriving at a petrol station in River Park, Johannesburg.
Egama lami Bafana wakabinda. Mina no Sandile besingabangani from esikolweni sagcina sesine group ye driver which is called Color VVP. It's in short egama la it's via Vandal Pantula. Ngelanga leli salemala ngayo it was on Sunday. Besihamba ngemoto from Sandile's home then uSandile bekayolanda ne-girlfriend yakhe then mina ngisala endleleni ngekhaya. Then along the way imoto yastaka. We had ukuthi mina noSandile shiye okafiso emotweni nabantwana then mina noSandile sithatha amafoni siye egarage sizofuna ijerrycan while masiza sihlangana ne-girlfriend kaSandile uThepiso then uThepiso athi uza nathi sithi naye hamba emotweni okafiso khona emotweni unabantwana thina siyofuna igazi walisabuya manje athi okay size sifike egarage masifike egarage siye ecounting ngaphandle sifike sikhulume noKatlego if not mistaken uKatlego uye beka se-counting that day simtshela ukuthi Katlego siphethe ifoni asina jerrycan sine 50 rand sifraza sicela uthathe ifoni usigaye jerrycan then siphethe nesigubhu sethu ukuthi sothela leya gazo leya phakathi kwesigubhu then sibanike ijerrycan then basinike ifoni masiloko sisacela kanjalo kube ne-noise between uSandile ne-some petrol attendants le egatini bebabaningi nyana ngingaboni ukuthi ubani nobani then mina ngisuka from kuleya taxi driver le bengicela imali kuyo ngifuna ukuya lapha mangifika lapha uSandile bayamshaya ngiyabona ukuthi unabantu abaningi kunabantu abamshaya ngingene nami ngifike ngiphethe isigubhu azange singalwa nokula ngimpushile kayibo my 2 kayi 3 ngalesa sigubhu.
The fight stopped and Mondli Luthuli, who wasn't involved in it, came looking for a knife from his colleague as seen in this footage and did the unthinkable.
Ngawuzwa sengikwazeka ngazi kanjani ngespeed then mangigijima ngithinya jika ngiyambona lo muntu ongikwaza ukuthi ona ngumuntu ongikwaza ngazi ukuthi uze kanjani ubuya from far ubani umkwatisile kanjani then mangijika ngithi ngiyagijima ngibona uSandile umile la at the end awuzi ntwana eyasiye ngilimele ntwana mangifika lapha umile ungibhekile akakhulumi nathi mangiyambheka uphuma igazi lana oh ntwana nayo phakathekile ngibamba umntwana ngoba ngiyabona ukuthi everyone wase garage sekabuyele emuva kusana ukuthi kuzoba nomuntu ozosiza khona lana nabantu abalaba mangile ukuthi kwenzakalani.
Binda took me to the spot where his friend drew his last breath. That's where he also collapsed after calling for help.
Siphume noSandile sizama ukukha then suddenly uSandile naye akasazokheli ngenyawo zakhe sokwamele ngimguge nami ngapha ngiyakhathala ngoba nami bengisengilimele ebemasifika la sawela lana phansi ngakhona ukuthi ngikhiphe ifoni ngifonela uKagiso noBongani then uKagiso noBongani bafika yibo bafuna usizo for yonke into.
As we were speaking, Sandile's family came to join us in this journey that reopened old wounds.
Today, like since from last year, the first time ngeba like lana ngoba like all the time masibuya from Alexandra itaxi sehlisa le khonini masiza ngapho Kagiso nokungibuza ukuthi wa uhlala ujampela ngale ngithi asi ngihlezi ngijampela ngale like bengisho ngazathi le ndawo ngayichiftisa ngayibeka somewhere but angikhulu nami ngiyazama ukuthi ngiphile nayo always yabo plus nezinto zakhona zenzakali kahle into yenza ukuthi nami ngakhona ukuforgeta it's been a year but ngisasela phaya ngazathi into ezona.
Related nomufu uSandile like ngomalume kuSandile mara the way bengakhona bengazathi like yithi ama twins understand. On that day mina bengisele emotweni yabona kuphuma ubafana noSandile bayotshela iPetrol mina ngisele noWandile umntwana kaSandile yabona emotweni wakhosta ukuthi uVinus yangifonela ngisemotweni ukuthi bona bayalimala la egarage bese umama kaWandile afike emotweni ngamtshela ukuthi ngiyeza ukuthi ngigijimele emajiteni angigijimele emajiteni ngafika endlini ngagcoka take right ngoba bengigcoka ama slippers ngafika la mangifika la ngithola amajita alele vele la phansi ngizake ngaba dizzy siswami yabona ngaba dizzy cala umuntu nakwazi ukukhuluma nami bokubafana ngoba manje nakasene power nyana before like azokhathala amandla yabona like umuntu la akwazi ukukhuluma nami ukuthi ubokhawatheke navala like ngivale va yabona ngoba ngizamile la ukuvala newundi yakhe leya la enhlizweni yabona ube uthi emangitshela ukuthi enye like ingapha emuva like uyilalele ngapha igazi vele ligcwele asengicela amavanza like lift yabona ngivala abantu estradini bangivalela ngelift yangithola kuze kufike like abantu abasekhaya vele akabuye bese kulate naye ukuthi yazi umoya sophumile vele yabona vele nami ngiphathe blind ngaba dizzy siswami vele nami bengisanayo ihope ukuthi ubosaphila yabona like asemsheshishele esibhedlela fast amasifika esibhedlela amasithola ukuthi ubobhodile yo anti zami ababuhlungu sister azini manje like ngisakhawathekile angifuni ngamanga ngisakhawathekile.
Sandile Ngqulungas was a well-known and respected Bantula dancer and aspiring singer in Alexandra when his life was snuffed out in 2021. Today, we are visiting his mother's house to hear how the family slept following the previous day's emotional events. We find his grandmother, uncle, aunt, sister, and friend waiting for us and seemingly in good spirits. The mother of the deceased, Portia Ngqulungas, ushers us through to Sandile's room, which she says he built with the money he made from gigs.
Ngoba mina ngangimaphelo neleli lingalo yena wazezidela leli walilungisa kahle. Yo, ayisincema kusala imaterial wangifakela ama room ayi2. Ama room awabhadala kusimali. Ngoba le imali engikhona ehlisa ukuthi umntana ngimbhadele isikole fees but ukera nani transport kunzima. Yazi kunzima. Yo hayi kunzima shame yo. Ngize ngisho ngathi ngabe uNkulunkulu uthathe mina washiya yena.
Ukubonisa ukuthi bebayenza into enhle emphakathini. Sibuya bothokoza, sibuya boHelberg, imabathi sine competition behamba nomntanami. Basifake ekhumbeni sambe nabo. EmaSoweto bese kuduza nabo ngoba sibona ukuthi sibakhuthaza ukuthi abantwana bangakhethi ukuyodakwa.
In the middle of our conversation, the return to Sandile's murder and the subsequent trial turns the mood somber.
Yabona engisubuhlungu Lindiwe umntana mbeka jabule.
Imini yonke.
Athi ke mama.
Nakambone ekhoneni.
Athi mama ihlupheka iphelile. Ngizokwakhela uzuyaplana simila pheketini ngifuna ukwenza idouble story lana hlanganise nabaqashi mama noma sihlupheka nawe ufana nabanye abantu kanti uthi hamba uyovulela mina indlu manje angeke uzubone lokho ngikuthembisa khona Lindiwe kunzima ukuthi nje ngoba ngeke ngihlale ngathengi insipho yokugeza neyokwasha mangabheka impilo yami Lindiwe azange ngiyacela ukuzwa ubuhlungu obunje emhlabeni ubuhlungu nje ngikuzwile ubuhlungu.
Another sore point for the family is the 5-year sentence Sandile's killer was given despite him having admitted in court that he was not under threat when he stabbed Sandile and his friend Bafana. He added that he stabbed them with the intention to cause harm.
Mhlawumbe Lindiwe ngabe umthetho uye wasisebenzela ngendlela ngabe sesihilile nyana ngendlela sibona ngakhona asisanathemba ukuthi lo mntana usejele lo mntana ukubo ngoba kwamanje mina ngicede am sure 1 month ngingayazi sente salo mntana mangihleli nomuntu ngithi bamgwebeni bonke bathi makangasiphatha kahle 10 months 10 months imera nathi bathe makangasiphatha kahle 10 months uzosiphatha kahle vele ngempela ngoba ufuna ukuqeda le 10 months khona sazi ngani ukuthi leyo 10 months le mali le ejele okhona or bathe mabaphuma bathi hayamba uhlala 10 months ekhaya angeke babone ukuthi awu.
We tried to verify whether Luthuli is indeed in jail, but the Correctional Services officer our query was referred to has not responded. The family says it tried to appeal the sentence, but they were told that there was no record of proceedings, which is of cardinal importance in appeals. This was due to missing transcripts from the trial. We went to the prosecutor's office in the Alexandra Magistrate Court to find out whether it is normal for the court to lose records. We're told this is indeed a norm at the court. Reasons for this range from the failure of recording devices to capture court proceedings and sometimes information getting lost on the server. To mitigate this, the court reconstructs the records, which depends on the availability of the magistrate, and families like the Ngqulungas would then have to buy the transcripts from the authorities so that they can lodge their appeal. We're made to listen to this CD, which was said to be the missing recording of the Ngqulunga case. However, we couldn't verify its contents as the recording was inaudible. Sandile's sister, Nontlantla, and her uncle suspect foul play. The Ngqulunga family says as a result, it has lost hope in the country's justice system.
Whatever the magistrate said, it was favoring. Anye ukuthi embulaleni abantwana bakho bahlala bangana babo. What about umzali oluza umntanakhe? What about mina ngilahlekelwe ubhuti? Abantwana balahlekelwe ubaba. So injustice South Africa could say I'm one of those people that ayikho. Icase akabhuti I'm gonna say it straight up beyinemali.
And njengokuthi nemali yini into ikwenza ukuthi beyinemali?
Because i-prosecutor ithe bayihlangana no-magistrate. Magistrate magabuya, let's proceed nge-case. Magabuza i-social worker ithi no, lo muntu fit for inside imprisonment. Athi why ungacabangi i-house arrest? I-house arrest kanjani? If okay, kokuqala umgwaze most sensitive parts intamo angamhlinza umthambo we-connecting ngqondo, inhliziyo, umdabulile, umgwaze ikidney. Those are the most sensitive part ukuthi noma magistrate uyibheka you thinking ukuthi okay you had intentions ukuthi uyambulala, you know how ukwaza umuntu, but when you coming to say momjaja no bobathusa, if mongwaza umuntu kayi1 uyang scratch nyathuka immediately mangibona umese no negazi ukuthi okay I have to leave, but he didn't.
Isikhathi lokusiya sesathola ukuthi the owner ye garage naye uLithuli the one ogwetshiwe ifamily one by family, so of course usebenzise imali leyo angayisebenzisa ngakhona ukuze le case iphele. That's why izinto eziningi ngithi mangisifuna ngibabuza ngazo bebasifihla into enjalo footage ngaya ngababuza footage azange bazibangikhiphela yona babamba la bayeka la, and then they came bazothiliswa bebazenza lento bebayenza la. Ngithe basaba no meeting sikhuluma ngale bathi okay no sizathi after i-funeral and then sizobuya mhlambe sihlale phansi sikhulume into njengalezo since labantu bagcina.
The petrol station owner has rubbished claims that she is related to Ngqulungas, the man who stabbed Bafana and murdered Sandile.
I've never seen Modi before he came to my side. I don't know anything about it. I never get involved with myself to that extent the way I would know I'm a disease.
She also disputes claims that she promised to return to the Ngqulungas home to discuss how they can help them. The businesswoman also revealed that she fired the man who had brought the knife Sandile was killed with to her business.
That guy, the same guy that Modi got from, was also fired. Because in my sense was, when he was arguing, his pride, but he's not the one who was most. Like, like the fact that you were carrying which means you're an accomplice.
The 12-year suspended sentence handed down to Mondli for stabbing Sandile's friend Bafana is another bone of contention.
Azange semina understand ukuthi ngoba bekune first count and second count. First count bekuyimurder, second count kuyi-attempted murder. But for attempted murder isigaba sakhona basibeke sabasikhulu kune attempted kune murder.
Question enkulu mina bengifisa ukubabuza ukuthi after 10 months mangihlangana nalomuntu kuyenzakalini. Mina I think ukuthi into bezoba fair ukuthi like naye athole i-sentence according to i-law inawo ama maximum and minimum sentences wawo wonke ama crimes abantu bawayenzayo. Then if ever bekenzakele kanjalo nami bengizosho ukuthi at least kuyenzakele something naye after mayeza amaningi bekazobuya azicabanga kayi-2 ukuthi hayi ngisafike phambi kwaleyo muntu, but after 10 months naye uzosazitshela ukuthi nyaka ungenze next.
Mina ngifuna i-proper justice, yes.
And ngicela appeal.
Yazi maybe ngingahili yazi angilali.
Ngicela appeal.
Angilali ukuthi ngizibuza imibuzo eminingi why kwenzeka so. Ngize ngizithi ngamhlamba uye waphenduka ngemoto ngabe maybe nokuphola ngiyaphola. Angikhona ukuphola lento. Angikhoni at all.
While the prescribed minimum sentence for murder in South Africa is 15 years for first-time offenders, the judiciary does retain some discretion. However, judging from the outcry in the Ngqulunga matter, it is clear that the well-established principle within the legal fraternity that calls for justice not only to be done, but also to be seen to have been done, was clearly missed. So I went to speak to a former prosecutor, Advocate Shabani Sibara, to find out what recourse families who feel let down by the justice system have. However, my first course of business was to show him the footage of the tragedy so that he understands the context of the conversation.
There was no justification to stab the poor man, in my view. Then he continued to chase him and stab him for the third time. And then again, he stabbed his friend. So I think the first step one could argue at the back was to maybe ward off the threat. It was enough in my view. The accused was not provoked. It brings us to the case of Sindisiwe Ngqulungas. She was just released quite recently on parole, where she stabbed Flaba once in the chest, and she was convicted for murder, and she was sentenced to 12 years. So when you just oppose the two, then you can see where the disparity is and the discomfort with the family. One cannot falter the family in that regard, because if you look at the case of Habib, the gravity of violence there was not huge. But here you can see that it was aggravated by the conduct of the accused. You can see that he stabbed him more than once. And I don't know the severity of the injuries as per the post-mortem, But the conduct of the accused is more aggressive compared to the case of Abedi or Sindisiwe Ngqulungas. So Even in that case, there was an argument that alcohol was involved. Even here, you can see that the deceased perhaps maybe had consumed alcohol at some stage. So the sentence, in my view, it was a bit lenient.
But what is the recourse for the family?
This matter was handled in Alexandra Magistrate Court. The DPP Johannesburg would be the best office for the family to engage. The family can do representations about their discomfort on the outcome of the matter. And I can say it with any fear of contradiction that the DPP's office in Joburg is quite capable of doing proper investigations and coming with the outcome which can resolve the matter better. And if the family is not satisfied with the outcome by the DPP Johannesburg, they still have a leg to go to the NDPP. I mean, you see, these are the institutions which are there to protect the public, and they've got a very good listening ear.
Community leader Tsietsi Kungwane was among the first people who went to the scene of the crime after Sandile was fatally stabbed. He describes the situation as a travesty of justice.
We are not happy as well as a community. We want to see justice, you know. Justice has to happen in its best proper way that it should happen, you know. If the guy has to be rearrested and given a proper sentence, that will suffice. So really, maybe our Minister of Justice needs to look into this. Mr. Roland Mamola, he needs to look into this and check whether really is it working proper. Are people really, you know, we see videos on social media where people are actually facing jungle justice because people are actually tired of something of these things that are happening here, you know, and you end up taking the law into your own hands and you end up being the perpetrator and then seen as a criminal. So if the Justice Department can actually, you know, put a spotlight on this one and make sure that, you know, we don't need to be living with animals out here.
abangakababona utaza abantwana amadrama or izinje ezincane le futhi ungizusayidi bathi ngiyongosa mina ngazi ngiyophumula nini kulo mhlaba ngathelo lo mfana empilweni.
The family, I can understand they are not happy. It's best for the family to exercise a bit of patience. I know it's not easy. I understand it's not easy. They've lost a loved one.
We requested an interview with the Magistrates Commission to hear its take on the sentence and allegations that the magistrate who presided over the Ngqulungas case appeared biased, but they didn't respond to our request. As the Ngqulungas family pushed for an appeal so that the perpetrator in this case one day receives a sentence that fits his crime, we couldn't resist to go and see for ourselves where Sandile and his friends, famously known as Amavaya Vandals, carved their craft. Luckily for us, the crew was pleased to show us their moves as a tribute to their departed leader and dear friend.
Because of our roots, there's nothing like a spray cut down. We feel like I must look driver like this. I get Sandile, but must drive someone who feel like Sera, song.
Manje no asiphila asiphela ngomoya abona abantu ababhayana abacabanga maybe like if I find out since farakana body and like yeah like into like izuma yabona so like sibaprove wrong ngoba siyazi ukuthi na like ukhona ngomoya
awumngani wethu sihlela simthanda ngesonke isikhathi.
And manje yini istyle bayathanda ukusenza mhlawumbe makadansa yena and then ayenzeni live
so lezi sisela mwananga
Boss.